Hello, everybody. My name is Blake Gross. We got Evan Suarez right over here. We are starting a podcast named Gross Sports Talks,
Come on.
where we're going to talk all things sports.
I'm from freshman year roommates here at the zoo, some call it Washington State University. But we knew that we always had a passion for sports. I mean, every single day. I don't think there was a single day when we lived together that we did not mention anything sports related or talk sports at least once. Like, obviously, we were big sports bettors as well, but I'm glad one of us had the cojones to start up a podcast. And then it was Mr. Blake for this instance. And he said, you know what, dude, you in? And I said, fuck yeah, I'm in here, dude. This is going to be awesome. And I think we're both very passionate about this. I think we're going to have a great time. Just talking
We
sports. I
both
mean, just two
studied
idiots talking
sports
sports.
broadcasting
Yep.
over at the zoo. Then I transferred out as we are now at East Carolina, uh, still studying communications, not sports broadcasting, as it was not an option. But besides the fact, we'll get right into the NHL here. If you got any questions, Evan.
All right, Mr. Toastman. Let's get started into this NHL. So, Four Nations tournament just wrapped up in place of the NHL All Star game. And, as we were talking about, the NHL All Star game, maybe not the most watched All Star game or the skills competition. I mean, they always got to pull some crazy new competitions out of the bag to get people to watch those. But first question I'll ask about that is do you think it is a good idea to kind of replace the NHL All Star game with the Four Nations face off?
I think it was an incredible idea. There were 9.3 million viewers in that Canada versus USA game.
Jeez.
Uh, didn't have the result we wanted, but that's all right. It was a great tournament. Sweden, Finland, United States, and Canada. Yeah, I think it was very successful. Definitely very competitive games. It was really cool to see Sebastian Aho as a Hurricanes fan myself, Nico Rantanen for other teams. You may not be cheering for them as much as they're playing for Finland, but I got no hate against Finland.
You, you
But
can't. You
then
just can't. Hey, don't forget about our boy Seth on that team. All right, let's not
Seth
forget about
Jarvis,
in
absolutely
Canada.
the
I
young
saw the
star.
I saw the Hurricanes post when he got cut or scratched from the lineup, and the Hurricanes were the social media team was not too pleased by that. But then for the
They were not.
championship game, he was suited up, ready to go.
Absolutely. Replacing Travis Konechny, a star player
Connect
in the
me.
NHL,
Yep.
and not a lot of people know Seth Jarvis is down in Raleigh. There's not too much media coverage in this part of the United States. But I mean, just to wrap that up, the Four Nations was unbelievable.
I had a great
The
time
only
watching it as
thing,
well.
yeah, I mean, the only thing that I think was a negative is how hard they played. I think the coaches of the NHL teams are like, "Are you shitting me? My guys are
Yep.
getting rocked by Brady Tkachuk, Matthew Tkachuk, you name it.
Yeah,
If they're
that was
hurt coming
awesome.
up for the Stanley Cup, I don't know how general managers are going to feel about this." So,
Yeah, that is
as
that
far
is a probably a big deciding factor for the because I'm sure the head coaches and general managers have quite a big say whether they like the Four Nations or not. And but I just think it's like you don't got to wait till the Olympics then every 4 years to see you know countries facing off versus countries in hockey, which is what it really I think that's what it's all about. I think that's what more obviously you might not have the biggest hockey fan in Canada, but obviously hockey's a huge thing in Canada. You got something to watch in the Four Nations face off to like support your country, not like a team.
yeah, and I don't know if you saw what Matthew Tkachuk said, but he said this was the biggest game, as in the U.S. versus Canada. Both games they played against each other. U.S. got the better half of them the first time, and Canada came for revenge to take the trophy in a overtime. Of course, Connor McDavid gets it done. Um, but he's saying these are the biggest games of their career, so it just shows you how much it can bring a country together. And these guys might hate each other in the NHL regular season, but for this game, it meant more.
Let's get into some trade talks here in the NHL, Mr. Blake. What are we thinking? As two Hurricanes fans ourselves, Mikko Rantanen is now a Carolina Hurricane. Obviously, some would say old news as it did happen before the Four Nations break, but probably one of the biggest trades in the league, if not the biggest trade in so far in the league, was Mikko Rantanen, star forward from the Colorado Avalanche, in a player trade from, sad to say, Marty Necas and Jack Drury gone to the Avs, where Marty Necas is actually thriving over there. Good to see. We can't hate him because
Yep.
that man can fly. But him and McKinnon, probably two of the best skaters in the NHL at the moment, obviously besides McDavid. But
Then you add Makar to that rotation.
yeah, like, are you kidding me here? Like, what's going on? And Lekkonen's having a hell of a year for himself as well. Like, geez, dude. The Avs just, I don't think the Avs have anything this year, but let's keep like, what do you think about that Rantanen trade? Is the man staying? Like, are they going to re-sign him or what?
Well, that is a great question. Glad to see him in the Hurricanes red and black. That's for sure. Um, I hope he's staying. And something I saw on the media the other day might mean nothing to some people, but he did pay Jack Roslovic, who formerly wore 96. Rantanen known for wearing 96 his whole career on the Finnish national team, stuff like that. He gave him a $250,000 watch. If he was only here for a few months, I don't think he'd be buying that. But, he's got money out of his rear end. So,
Yep,
maybe that's just nothing, but just something I picked up on. Um, but then you look at the Avalanche getting Jack Drury and Natchez. I mean, both incredible players. Drury, a great third line center,
yep.
and Natchez can do it all. You put him with McKinnon, he's going to play more minutes, and he's already averaged, I think, 1.5 points per game.
I mean, Jesus,
Rantanen off
dude.
to a slow start in Carolina,
Hmm.
but that's fine. He's used to playing with McKinnon, the best player, some would say, in the NHL, and think of how much he gets players open. I mean, he's incredible the way he skates. And the Hurricanes also getting Taylor Hall from the Blackhawks. No one
Yeah,
saw
Taylor
that one
Hall.
coming,
No,
but a veteran, they're going to need him for a deep cup run if they're going for it, which they definitely are. And he's going to be a big part of that. And he's fit in quite well to start. Um, I think he'll will play a big role in the final few months of the season and going into the postseason.
no, for sure. Taylor Hall is a great acquisition. As you got Slaves back there for defense in the Hurricanes. But we also got to talk about the goaltending situation there in Carolina. Obviously, as a Kraken fan over here in Washington, let's not talk about the goaltender situation over here because obviously it is next close to absolute horse trash. Grubauer get down to the Coachella Valley Thunderbirds to get him out of here. But Coach
He is
Ekblad,
out.
as we are talking earlier, his antics. You are right. He is a very unpredictable. Some might say to be underwhelmed. Like, I don't know the word, but let's not sleep over the fact that he's a great goalie. But as well, he's very unpredictable. And I don't know. Freddie's back. Obviously, he was injured. But if they're going to do a deep run in the Cup Finals this year, can't only be Piotr. Freddie's got to step up.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, Freddie's going to have to play back to backs. He's going to have to play the majority of the games in the playoffs, barring there's no trades at the deadline for another goaltender. I know John Gibson's name was thrown out from the Ducks. They
Mm,
seem to
he's
want too much
great.
for him. He's a
Uh,
great player, but they want a little too much for the Hurricanes' liking, which I'm glad they're not trying to get rid of their terrific farm system built by Rod Brindamore and many others. Eric Tulsky, his first year as a GM, I think he's done great so far, and I hope that Rantanen trade pays off and he can get re-signed. I saw they offered 14 million or maybe 13, but I don't know. I hope he resigns. I think he does. I don't see him as a big market type of player. Yes, he's probably top five in the league, but he just isn't a guy that I could see in New York or something like that, where he's the main guy. He's got to do all the media crap. If he gets yelled at, he just seems like a guy that wouldn't want all that coverage, which he's not going to get in Raleigh, which is why a lot of players like Raleigh would. Yeah, if they're going to get over the hump, goaltending probably one of the biggest factors for them. As watching their last few runs, going to multiple of those games, they should have beat, as I preach time and time again, they had him in the first two games at MSG and they just failed to get the call. They got bad calls. Yes, the refs, you can't blame the refs, but I mean, at the end of the day, New York just took way less penalties due to the reffing in the first two games. I don't know if that has to do with the New York crowd. You know, they can get rowdy up there.
Oh
But
yeah.
yeah, really, really thought the Hurricanes were the better team. I know that's a little hometown bias, but I mean the way they came back and almost took them to game seven, barring a absolute masterpiece from Chris Kreider to score two goals to win the
Uh,
game.
don't remind me. God, that was
I
pain.
know it hurts just thinking about it. But then back to the Rangers, they just traded for JT Miller,
Yeah, dude. I mean, how about
former
that?
Ranger. I mean, I think everyone saw it coming. You're not a big
Yeah,
hockey guy yourself, but I think everyone saw that from a mile away. The Rangers were panicking. They needed someone to come spark it up, and he scores two goals against the Bruins in his first game.
yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean, come on, JT Miller. I mean, the Rangers last year obviously made pretty decent run in the Stanley Cup Finals, in the playoffs. But a pretty big fall off from last season offensively, I should say. Obviously, Igor Shesterkin back there between the pipes, as well as Jonathan Quick. So, I mean, Igor, you said earlier, went down a couple of days ago. And yeah, I mean, there's no way Jonathan Quick, not to disrespect him, obviously, he's one of the great goaltenders the league has ever seen. But there's no way at this age between the pipes he can play, back to back to back games here, and especially coming down the stretch when they really matter most. But I think JT Miller provides an excellent offensive threat here for the Rangers as well. You've got the bread man. You can't forget about the bread man there at Panera and Panarin, and you've got
Panarin, he's
the ex
incredible.
Hurricane and Vinny Trocheck. God, he played the shit out of them in that series last year in the playoffs. But
You talk about flopping. That guy can
yeah,
do it all.
just
That's one of
just
those guys. If he is not on your team, you hate him. But if he's on your team, you love him because,
yep.
man, he can get under someone's skin in a hurry.
About that JT Miller trade, you think it was good for?
I
Obviously, you
think
think it
it
was good
was
for the
good for,
Rangers?
yeah, I think it was great for the Rangers. I mean, they needed something to spark them because right now they got absolutely nothing. Their management is beyond terrible.
Yep.
And I'm glad they didn't fire the ex Stanley Cup winning head coach, Peter Laviolette. He won a
Yeah.
Stanley Cup in 2006 for your Carolina Hurricanes, and he's done great up there. And the management has given him a shitty team. They lose. I mean, Truba wasn't a big loss, but they lost some key players, and they traded Capo Caco earlier in the season to the Kraken up in Seattle.
Go
Um,
Kraken.
yeah, they were just trying to get something done, and that's what they did. So they just wanted to shake up things, I guess. They got Will Borgen, they signed him from Seattle. He's a decent player,
Nothing
maybe a
special though,
little above. Yeah, nothing. I mean, Capo Caco was I believe, a number two overall pick.
Yeah, I mean, he's
And
had a great little stint in Seattle so far as well.
yeah, so I mean, I don't think you just get rid of that guy, but I mean, that's the Rangers management.
Yep, there
Uh,
you go.
I mean, they didn't re-sign any of the guys that they picked up at deadlines. They picked up Kane 2 years ago. They didn't re-sign him, and they just think they can win the Stanley Cup, and if they lose it, nothing happens. And when they don't, then they're losing all these players, and now they're kind of in a shitty situation.
Oh, 100%.
But yeah, we'll wrap up the NHL with the Immaculate Grid.
IMAC. IMAC time.
IMAC time.
And we're not
Here
talking
we
about
go.
the iMac from 2008. God, that thing was a hero in school libraries.
You talk about the iMac, a different one, as
Dude,
we
pardon me here. I need to grab
somehow
my
have.
water. Here we go.
Yep, no problem. Uh, as we head over to the iMac, we have our Hurricanes, which should be easy for me. Um, let's
Well,
see
let's get
here.
one off the rip right there. Top center. I know if you want to explain to the viewers, obviously we want to go for lower scores and percentages, but I mean one off the rip, as we just mentioned, Mister. You can find him in the mall, Taylor Hall.
Taylor Hall, I will do that in your honor because you are not a
Thank you.
big hockey guy.
I know
But
that felt good to
but man,
actually get one
oh,
there.
2%, that's
Super. I
actually
mean,
incredible.
hey, let's
That's
get it
incredible.
right. Let's do that.
I that was incredible. That might have just screwed us for later because the reason I think that's 2% is the Devils in the Blackhawks. That's
Yeah.
where everyone had Taylor Hall, but that's all right. We got to think ahead. That's all right. As far as a 30-win goaltender for your Blackhawks, that is tough, but I think, or no, I don't think Corey Crawford did. I believe it was Tony Esposito.
Oh, that has to
I
be the
could be,
answer.
and it is. Thank you, Bompy, my grandpa,
He said
80 plus years old, and he was
Despacito.
the one who got me that answer right there. As we head down to the Blues, I would probably say Biddington because I can't remember many others. Yeah,
Hey, how
Evgeny
about Benner, man?
Nabokov.
You know, they loved him down there, and he was the kid. He was team. Who would have saw that one? Team Canada's main goalie, Jordan Bennerton. He played
And
outstanding.
one of the coaches, um, Bruce Cassidy, who has Aiden Hill over in Vegas. He didn't start him once. I know he
No,
wasn't the head coach, but you know he's got a say in all that.
oh
Same
yeah,
as
for
Peter
sure.
DeBoer was a former Vegas Golden Knights coach, so they knew who they had in Aiden Hill, but Bennington was the right decision at the end of the day. He made miraculous saves. As far as the Sharks, everyone is going to say Brent Burns, but I know we're gonna have some Hurricanes fans watching this. Nicholas Volline, you talk about
Wow.
0.5%.
Oh my
That
God,
is
what
what
an
we call
answer.
from the logo. Um, so that is what we'll do for that one. Timo Meyer.
Yep.
He was a big trade acquisition a few years ago for the Devils. Blues and Devils. Gotta give me 2 to 4 business days on that one as we head over to the Hurricanes and the Blues. Some know the head coach, Rod Brindamore, did play for both ball clubs,
Wow. I mean, I would have never guessed that one.
and some say his nose is as big as mine, and sadly, I think it is. It might be bigger. I think it's bigger. That is what I will say. Um, Blackhawks and Devils. Blues and Devils. Oh, that is tough. Blues and Devils. I don't even know. I don't even know. I think I'm gonna end it right there because I don't want to waste everyone's time on this
Hey,
as we get
seven
multiple
answers is
scores.
not bad.
It
Not
ain't
bad at
bad
all.
for the first one. Taylor Hall, yep, a lot of people had him up in that
Oh,
top
Tavo.
quadrant.
Forgot
Oh,
about
Martin Brodeur. I thought that's who you're gonna say as a big Tabo fan yourself. But
Tara Binen.
we
Should we just
will,
jump right to the NBA Immaculate Grid here?
yeah, might as well. We'll start off with the grid for this second one.
So our next sport we'll cover will be the NBA here. And as you're pulling up that Immaculate Grid, real quick, I mean, we've got to bring in Luca. I mean, we've just got to bring in that little. We've got to talk about Luca here first before the Immaculate Grid. And I think just, I mean, did that shock everyone? Like, let's be honest here. What's
I
going on
mean,
here?
it absolutely
Palinka,
did.
Palinka
It
from left
absolutely
field.
did. I think it was more of a surprise to Mavericks fans. I mean,
Yep,
they just lost their future for the next 15
the
years.
future is the correct term there, Mr. Blake. They indeed lost their 25, is he 25? I don't know what
I
he
think he's,
was.
yeah, I think he's around 25.
25-year-old superstar. I mean, come on. The poor
Superstar
guy.
for him is an understatement. He is incredible. I would say I know one for the as a not a big basketball fan, but I believe Avery Bradley did play for both of those teams
Nice.
right there.
I mean, let's just get the former 3-time or 2-time repeat MVP. I mean, Jokic can't be used for anything else but that 5 assists per game season. Let's throw him in there. Nicola.
Let's go for it. And bang, there it is.
Could probably throw Jabron Lames in there if you want, or if you want to go for a sleeper. You know what? This might be from left field. You could go Derek Fisher,
Let's try
an
that one out. We
old-time
want the low
Laker.
scores here. Derek Fisher. I might be Stevie Wonder, but there it is. Oh, he did not. That is all right. Hey,
He
we're
didn't have
looking for
five
low
assists
scores.
per game for. Come on, Derek. Oh, I guess you could add
At least one
Kobe
season
Bean
too.
Bryant. It's probably Kobe Bryant there. God dang it. I mean, he did play his old time with
He
Kobe, but
did.
there you go.
I think that's 9% because a lot of people thought he did not pass the ball a lot, but
Yep.
he did get some assists
Oh
at the end of his
shoot.
career.
Would some say he got drafted? Could we have put him for the middle one there?
I don't think so. They do have to
Okay.
play a game. They
Okay.
do
So I
have
was
to
gonna
play a
say
game.
shit.
10, but yeah, the Lakers and the Hornets. I mean, Mark Williams almost Dalton Connect, but no, the
God,
trade
yeah.
rescinded. We'll get to that after the grid, though.
This is gonna be crazy to say, but the triple double man himself, Russell the Muzzle for the bottom right, 5 assists per game, 10 rebounds per game season. I know he had the rebounds. Fun fact. Oh,
you are absolutely correct.
I was gonna say, I was like, God, Mr. TD himself. This is actually kind of a
I
hard one
think
now, I
I
feel
know
like.
one. I think I know the top middle.
Rip one.
Some say this is what they do if you have a rash. You ish Smith it because here he is,
Wow, you talk about an ish.
ish Smith. I mean, here's a guy. All right, now two playoff teams year in and year out lately, the Nuggets and the Celtics.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
let's
gonna say for the
uh,
bottom, Bill Russell, just to
Bill
get that
Russell.
out of the
Yeah,
way.
that's a good answer.
10
10
rebounds for
rebounds in
the
the Hornets.
Hornets.
Shit, dude, I don't know the Hornets
I
like
could
that.
not
I
name
could,
a center for the Hornets in the last 10 years other than Mark Williams.
yeah,
I'm gonna
literally.
say Nick Richards because he did play center. I don't think he got 10, but yeah, I just had to go for one there. Lakers and Hornets.
I mean, why didn't that trade
It,
just go through? We could have just, it would probably would have been a 95% answer, but that's better than nothing.
yeah, as we take a trip to the felt store because we are felted here. Um, Lakers and Hornets. I feel like there was a trade like the past few years. I could be mistaken. Lakers and Hornets. As a Laker fan yourself, you should know this, Mr. Evan.
I know, I should.
Lakers and
Okay, wait, was
Hornets.
I just being, did Dwight Howard ever play on the Hornets?
I don't think he did, but I'll give it a try. He did. That is
Wow,
amazing.
we'll
Early in
take
his
that
career,
then.
I'm assuming
Yeah, I think it was early in his career.
that was
It either
absolutely
had to have been early or
incredible.
late. But
Yeah,
nonetheless,
I think
Dwight
he's
the
over in
take flight.
Taiwan now.
He is. He's he's the Taiwan basketball enthusiast. He tries to recruit everyone over there.
I mean, who wants to go to Taiwan to play basketball when you could play in the States? But I mean, you got to be good enough. That's the thing.
You go to Taiwan and eat their food.
I mean, it is incredible over there. Never been there, but I just know it's good because, man, a lot of people talk about it. But with that being said, we'll head over to the trade deadline. I mean,
Yeah.
some big moves. As a Laker fan yourself, what are your thoughts on that Luka trade? I mean, I think it caught everyone by surprise. Um, we'll go over the Luka trade, the Kuzma trade for Middleton, and Jimmy Butler to the Warriors.
Yeah. I mean, Luca just like, wow, just one word, you know? I mean, everyone got that alert on their phone and was like, what the fuck? Just simply, I guarantee you, everyone and their mom just
Yeah,
was like, I mean, that was so, I mean, AD gone. I mean, he was he was really like the only defense on that starting five for the Lakers. I mean, now you have Jackson Hayes, who obviously can jump out of the gym and he can throw. He's been providing some good defense down low, fairly good for AD. But obviously, he's no AD. Let's not take away from how good AD has been, which I believe is hurt right now, which sucks to see. But you
yeah,
know,
he did. get an injury. I think he is out for a few weeks here to months,
Yeah,
which could really hurt the Mavericks.
100%. As far as that Kuzma trade though to the Bucks, I mean that could be big. I mean, people don't sleep like I feel like those players that go like Jordan Poole, like the players that go to like those shit teams, like the Wizards, or like it's like you get forget about over there. Like no one watches those games, dude. Like like no one watches the Wizards play ever. I
Even
mean,
if they
Chris
play
Middleton.
the Lakers, no one's watching because
Yeah,
it's like, oh,
exactly.
they're gonna blow them out by 50. It's the NBA.
Like it's not like
But
LaMelo Ball where you have a whole fan base for the Hornets, but like it's all LaMelo Ball.
yeah,
Like
like no one's watching the Wizards, let's be honest. Maybe if they grab Cooper Flag in the draft, but I mean, no one's gonna watch the Wizards. But I mean, you got Kuzma who just improved his game for 2, 3 years because he was their only option, him and Poole. And
yep.
Poole doesn't pass. So Kuzma's doing all his scoring by himself. I think he averaged 20, a 20-piece McNugget a game or something like that. Be the third option.
Yeah.
You got Dame Lillard, you got Giannis, and then you got Kuzma. I mean, they're going to be able to score. Not that they've had problems scoring. Not only are they going to score, they're going to defend better with more height. I mean, I think that's a great trade because, I mean, a lot of people have heard about this global warming over the past few years. I mean, Middleton's a fossil fuel. Let's be honest.
I mean, there he goes in Washington. As a place to burn up, and I take him in DC. I guess there goes Chris Middleton. Some would say not the most attractive looking NBA star in the league. Some would maybe argue he's one of the ugliest. But my God, I mean, yeah. How about Jimmy buckets though? I mean, as our we were saying, we're gonna have one of our good buds that we met freshman year, Mr. Joseph Ertley the second himself, joining us for an episode or two here. But I mean, that's just that trade. I mean, Jimmy Butler made it pretty obvious he did not want to stay there in Miami. I mean, he wanted to get the hell out of there. But how about ending up on the Wizard or the Warriors? I mean, wow.
I mean, Joe's gonna kill you for messing up that name right there. I gotta
Yep.
point that out. I know
Yep.
it's our first pod, but we're gonna have to point that out here. But I mean, Jimmy Butler, is he just gonna bring defense? He's gonna bring offense. He's gonna assist the ball, steal the ball, put the ball in the basket. I mean, he could do it all.
I
I
mean,
think
I saw Steph had 30 tonight. I don't think Jimmy even had 20. So I mean, like,
he
you don't
doesn't need
need
to
you need
score
one of
there.
exactly. You need one of the two. And obviously Andrew Wiggins are gone now, but Jimmy Butler, Steph
I mean,
Curry,
that's another big one that you bring up, Andrew Wiggins. I mean,
yeah,
was he a number one overall pick? I think he
number
was.
one. He was the number one overall pick. Him and
And
Zach Levine, same draft.
he's got a decent career going. I mean, he's been pretty good lately. Um, yeah, Butler was not staying with the Heat. I mean, I don't think he was gonna play another game there. So great move by Mr. Riley over in Miami. Do you think the Warriors make the playoffs? I know they're in quite a hole right now.
Yeah.
Can they
I
dig out of
mean,
that in a very deep West Conference?
as I'm sure Ertley will not like this answer out of me here, but you know, nah, I don't. I really don't think they do. I don't think they pull. I mean, if they do, it's going to be via the play-in tournament. Obviously, here. I mean, I don't
I
think they.
agree.
I mean, it's just they're going to need somebody else. You're going to need a cemented big man in. I mean, just like the Lakers. I mean, obviously with Luka and LeBron, that's like the two good enough to make the playoffs. But that's because AD helped them get that record already good. And when he was playing with them, and then obviously he's gone now. But their record's pretty good now. You got little like you obviously less than half the season to go. They're already I think like want to say like the fourth or fifth seed in the West because they were just on fire for a while there. But yeah, I don't know if the Warriors can make it. I mean, I'm sure the NBA will find a way to get Steph into the playoffs one more time, though.
I
So
mean, they
it,
want to see him. He's towards the maybe last three, if he even has 3 more years in him. He's been hinting that he is maybe gonna call it a career here in the next few years. But you know how those big name players are. They like to flirt with ending their career, then they'll play an extra 5 years and still be incredible players. So
Play another 5 years. It's called another like 350 million, and like, come on, dude. Like,
yeah, I
spread
mean,
some.
just grab the extra cash.
Jeez. So, but
And the
speaking
NBA
of
is not a sport of a lot of injuries, so it's like, I mean, you don't got to worry about it.
the Toast Man from deep. Speaking of the finals, though, here, I mean, what are your thoughts? Can anyone contend with the Thunder and the Celtics and the Cavs? Um, my take here is that I do think the Grizzlies can, the Thunder, we all know, every basketball knower, I should say, not even fan, knows that Thunder are young. They're real young, but I mean, you have Chet, I think Hartenstein was one of the best pickups for them, like such a slept on pickup, but I think he's like him and Chet together. Obviously, Chet's the deep threat, and you got Hartenstein in the paint doing his thing down there with his floater that he loves so much. But then you have Shea and Jalen Williams. I mean, that team is just they
They're
play
deep,
such
they
hard
can defend the
defense.
ball, they're young,
Yep,
and that's, I mean, I know you're a big Laker fan. I think that Luka trade could get them to the finals, but they're gonna have to play 6, 7 games against all those young guys who are gonna have a lot more energy, want it more as they have zero titles. So, I
yep,
mean, you got to think about those things. I mean,
yeah. Like as we were saying, as far as like the Lakers going, there's just no defense there to kind of back them up. And if they can score 130 points plus per game, obviously that'll help with the defensive lack of defense there is over there in LA. Lakers wise, I should say, Clippers are actually pretty good on defense. But another I want to say somewhat young team is the boys over there in Cleveland, and they look real good. I obviously their record's better than the Celtics, but I'm still a Celtic repeat champion mindset type of guy. I think that they just get it done in Boston again. I mean, Missoula's
as
doing a
long as
great
they're
job
healthy,
there.
I think they can
Yep.
do it. No
I mean, I
question
just
about it.
it's insane. Like I just don't see how they lose to anyone in the East besides it'd be the Cavs in the Eastern Conference, which I would love to see that matchup. Like absolutely
I
love to
would
see that
love to
matchup.
see the Cavs beat them.
Oh
I
my God,
don't like Boston sports,
that'd be
and
great.
I think it's just the people up in Boston. I hope they don't take this too harsh, but I mean, other fan bases just see them as complete assholes, and
Yep.
it makes you hate their teams, and that's exactly what it is for me. But I do have to say they have an incredible team up there, good
They
coaching
do.
staff, and I think they could do it. But they're gonna have to get through the Cavs, who play incredible defense.
All right, and to wrap up our first episode ever of the Gross Sports Talk podcast here between me and Mr. Blake Gross himself. All right, Blake, let's get into it. The NHL Stanley Cup, our predictions, and as well as the NBA Worlds, or not World Series, what am I saying? The NBA Finals. Who we got? I'll give mine first if you want. Out of the Western Conference, I'm big. I mean, you said it earlier, we were talking about it just before this. The Stars look great in the regular season. They always do. They make it at least to the second round. I want to say, in the Stanley Cup final playoffs, but I think they got a legit shot this year. Ottinger's playing insane, but it really comes down to if Ottinger can play every game and if he can keep up his high level of play. Out of the Eastern Conference, though, I do like the Florida Panthers going back to back, but I also don't mind the Tampa Bay Lightning. Vasilevsky's doing his thing down there, stopping pucks between the pipes. But enough for me for the NHL. Who are your NHL predictions here, kid?
Well, out of the Western Conference, I do like the Avalanche a lot with the new acquisition of Marty Necas alongside McKinnon. They're going to rack up 24 minutes a game. They're going to play a speedy game, which I think favors them a lot, especially with Makar on the back end. I like Colorado and the Knights to match up in the final,
Ooh,
uh, Western Conference final. I think the Knights get it done with their home crowd, all the festivities they have over in Vegas. Uh, and then on the Eastern Conference side, I think it'll be the Carolina Hurricanes. As a Hurricanes fan myself, I know there's a little hometown bias there, but I think they match up with the Toronto Maple Leafs. And the Toronto Maple Leafs make it to the Cup final for the first time in over 15 years,
I don't mind
but
that
they are
pick at
taken down
all.
again
Yep.
by the Vegas Golden Knights that get
Mm,
another one.
nice.
I
I
really
love
do
it.
think the Knights get it done.
I love it, Mr. Blake. I love it. And moving on from the National Hockey League
Now let's
here.
go over to the NBA.
Yep. All right. All right. I'll give it first. I was saying out of the Eastern side, I love the Boston Celtics. I mean, how could you not? But I really do. I mean, not trying to be like just like the easy pick 'em answers. I mean, they look phenomenal. Like, I mean, you can't yes in the regular season, but as well, I mean, I think the Cavs, yes, they have it's I think 100% it will be Cavs Celtics in that 1-2 seed, and then they'll play in the Eastern Conference Finals. And I think it will be between the Cavs and Celtics, but I do think the Celtics take that series 4-2 in the Eastern Conference Finals, and I think they advance to play the Los Angeles Lakers. Thank you to LeBron James. And as much as the NBA is going to try to rig it for
Wow.
LeBron, as much as they're going to try
Wow.
to rig it for LeBron to try to get a ring with Luka here in the first season, I mean, it's just no match for the Celtics. I think
Bold prediction there. All right.
that.
Well, I think you're right on with the Eastern Conference. I mean, I think the Cavs and the Celtics will match up, but I think the Cavaliers take it down.
All
They
right.
got a big, big lineup. They're going to be able to match up with Porzingis, Tatum. Tatum, I mean, if he's in a shooting slump, they could be in trouble in a hurry. They're not a assist-heavy team. As you look at Brown and Tatum, they don't like to assist the ball that much. Tatum with 9 assists tonight, as I say that, but he doesn't do that in the postseason. Over in the Western Conference, I think the Thunder match up with the Lakers. I think the Lakers' experience takes them down. They have the three-point shooting, they have the defense. With that being said, Cleveland takes down LeBron. How storybook would
Wow.
that be? Cleveland Cavs to take down the hometown hero, LeBron James, in Cleveland in game 6.
Don't mind it at all. Don't mind it at all. And honestly, I think it's going to be another Eastern Conference year. I think they take it down the West Conference. I mean, if it's not going to, if the Thunder
They're
somehow
going to
can
be
make
beating
it,
up on each other the
yep,
whole previous series. And then you think about the Western Conference, there's not a weak team even in the bubble watch. So
yep,
I think it's easier for the easier route, if you will.
that is very true. Well, everybody, thank you for tuning into me and Blake's first podcast here on the Gross Sports Talks. It's been very fun, and we look forward to keeping this up. Next week, we're going to be talking spring training MLB, as well as a little pre-combine, more like looking into next season, who we like for the NFL, but more a little bit of combine talk and getting those college athletes out there. Anything else you want to say, Mr. Blake, before we sign this thing off?
I think that is it. I think we did an incredible job here at our first podcast, but a few issues, but hey, we'll work through them and we look forward to providing for this beautiful audience we have here and we look to grow it and hope we can get this going.
Yep, exactly. And this has been Evan and Blake, and we'll catch you next week. Thanks for listening.